good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for all of you guys coming out here today. And this particular sculpture that was done really is priceless, so you can't really put a price tag on it. Back when this was created, it was over $200,000 at the time, and today it'd be valued at over $500,000. So in order to preserve it, to keep it, to make it part of our community and make sure that the legacy of the Graces goes on, we wanted to preserve it. And so we reached out to Ken Redan, who is here with me right now. Ken was the original sculptor on this. As all of you know, we are very fortunate in our community to have Ken. He has done so many great pieces of art here in our community, recognizing and really celebrating so many of the folks that were legacy individuals, from Carl Erskine to Johnny Wilson to Mr. O'Bannon, whose sculpture is over in front of the Paramount. He's really done a great thing, and I'm going to have him talk a little bit. We're going to introduce some of the folks here that were principally involved. But going back in 2003, Ken worked on this, his wife. This was done under the administration of J. Mark Lawler and the economic development team at that time. And a lot of hard work was put into this. But Ken, talk a little bit about the Graces. I know sometimes we call it the Three Graces. That's not right. It's the Graces.
Back in 2003, there was a renewed interest in the arts as a catalyst to help bring more attention to the downtown. In that era, too, there was a lot of attention on the periphery of the town, and yet Anderson's face or heart is in the downtown. And so there was a lot of interest in trying to do things that helped bring people here. And it's interesting because today, there's a renewed interest in the arts. It's really amazing. When my wife and I had the gallery just a couple buildings up here, we had a fine arts show every month, and it was no problem at all finding talent for the exhibits, and we couldn't get over it. You wouldn't expect it in a Midwest kind of sleepy town to find that all over the place are highly talented people. The Graces sculpture is all about celebrating the gift of talent, whether it be in any of the art forms or any other creative aspect of life, especially that which contributes back to the greater community. Three Graces is a historical known, and of course there's a reflection back to that. But when I did the piece, I titled it The Graces, just to make it more contemporary. There you go. And everybody, it seems, even some of you journalists, I won't mention who, when it's in the stories in the paper, they say, The Three Graces. But that's okay. As long as people understand it's for them and it's to appreciate. Now, Nicole, Rhea in the back with a cape, and Jonica were all principal dancers for Luann Young's ballet company. And at the time they posed for me for this sculpture, they were much younger individuals. But the statement I wanted to make was more of a mature statement, because I was talking about creativity as a gift, but a gift that needs to be developed and then given back to society before its true significance is seen and appreciated. So these figures were deliberately made to look more mature and more established. So it's really interesting because all three of these girls went on to study at college level, and when they graduated and came back at different times and had their pictures taken, it was remarkably interesting that they started looking more and more like the sculpture. I enjoyed doing this, even though it was hard work. I had great help. Tom Tackett and Jama at the Parks Department, and Greg and Gabby. Gabby loved the job I gave him. It was to help rebuild the hydrant for the water up there. Wasn't that fun? Yeah, he loved it. See, I knew he loved it. And then I have individual assistants. She was with me practically every day. Lindsay Voorhees. And yeah, and then I also have to introduce Melon, my fiance. She was a great liaison between Tom and Jema and Lindsay to make sure everyone communicated well with each other. So I thank her. Yeah, and she brought lunches and things. Thank you, Tom.
Well, thank you very much, Ken, again, for all of your efforts and the willingness to do this. I know at the time Ken was working on some other projects around the state, and he took just a very, very brief break in that to help work on this and to get it done in a timely fashion, which we appreciate. Again, I want to thank Jamie Donovan, our superintendent of parks, and the park board, Jack Kiesling, who's here, and also Kenny Davenport is here, and we have two other park board members who also supported this, and we appreciate that. And also want to thank the Board of Works who assisted us with some of the financing on this as well. We'll go ahead, and I guess I'm the guy with the ribbon, or the scissors. Ken, I'll let you open those up, and we will get a couple of pictures first.
One on top and one on bottom?
Yes, sir. There you go.
Okay.
And you want to...
Have they been sharpened?
They're very sharp.
Okay. Ready?
We'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Right, there we go. Open for business again. Thank you again, everyone, for coming. And Ken, thank you so much.